Hey everyone. This morning I did a live stream, basically about 36 plus minutes, 40 plus minutes, about 36 to 40 minutes before I clocked into work. Basically my plan to do to have a dollar ride pick me up didn't fall through. Didn't come through. Basically it fell through. And so I had to end up taking the 7:30 bus and waiting until about 9:30 to clock in. Yeah. Anyway, while I was waiting, I did a live stream this morning talking about how fans still debate over Twilight Sparkle being a princess. Even to this day. Yeah, even to this day. And the reason fans have been debating over it, I think it's mostly due to the fact that I believe in their opinion, it just came out of nowhere. It's something that they didn't expect to happen so quickly, but yet it did. Like I said, it's something they probably didn't expect to happen so quickly, but yet it did. It ended up happening a lot quicker than they expected. I mean, sorry about that. I was just fixing something. But it happened a lot quicker than they expected. Here's the thing. We kind of got a clue of something big was going to happen around season 3, basically around that season. I think somewhat had a clue something big was going to happen at the end. And when season 3 ended and season 4 began, that's when the changes started to happen. Now, I don't know if it was at the end of season 3 or it was at the beginning of season 4. I think it was around the beginning of season 4 because that's when all the debating and all the arguing and criticisms and all that started to begin. But basically around season 4 when this whole thing started, around season 4 when this whole thing started, a lot of fans had felt, because one of the valid arguments that a lot of fans have had, even to this day, in fact, they had an elderly pony say it flat out in Fame and Misfortune. And what that elderly pony said is the same thing a lot of fans have been saying for, well, at least the past several seasons, even to now. And that is the fact that Twilight was a lot better without wings. She was a better character. She was more involved. Now that she has wings, now that she's a princess, she's not as involved as she has been in the past. I mean, yeah, she can be involved when she has to be. There is no doubt about that. We've seen that in season 5 with episodes like Amending Fences. We've seen it in season 6 with what's the episode? The Spike episode, Gauntlet of Fire. We've seen it in those episodes. We've seen her get involved when she has to be. But when I look at the way Twilight's being presented here, the way I see Twilight being presented is over the past several seasons from a continuity. Hold on. I have to give me some coffee there. But the way she's presented from a continuity perspective from a continuity context, is she feels like, okay, it's basically from a continuity and character's perspective, she's grown into her role. She understands her role. She's the princess of friendship. She understands she has more responsibilities now. She understands that, she understands she has to be more of a mentor, if not a teacher, more than just a student or a friend. She understands she has to be more than just a friend, and as well, is what I'm saying. She understands that she has to be she now has to be a leader, a teacher, a mentor, and as well as a good friend, and somewhat still be a student, and still be a learning student to someone like Celestria, but But when I see this, and I see a character that has grown into this position, if you will, that has grown into this position, like I said, that has grown into this position, I see a character, and maybe it's just me, but maybe this is and it's just my opinion, but I see a character that's being presented as she understands her growth and her role, her growth in character and in life, and her role now and her responsibilities that she now has as a princess and everything. But I also see a character that kind of wishes they were back to the way they were. Wishes that they were not in this position. Wishes they were not, having to stay behind while others went on assignments to extravagant, exotic areas of Equestria, while she has to remain behind. And these are places she wants to go and see herself. She wants to learn and study about herself. So when I see people debate, argue, converse, if you will, of Twilight being a princess, one, we have to remember her becoming a princess wasn't because of the fact that the story called for it, the context and continuity call for it, or anything like that. It wasn't that or anything. What we have to remember is, just like with Cadence, and then later on Cadence's daughter Flurryheart, Twilight became a princess due to marketing. She became a princess because they wanted to market, that being Hasbro, they wanted to market Princess Twilight toys and collectibles and merchandise. That's why she was made into a princess, because they wanted to promote the princess side of things for Twilight. And again, I understand not a lot of people will agree with that. Not a lot of people like that perspective or like that reasoning. But I think what we have to realize is this has been something that's been going on for decades, for generations, and it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop with us complaining on the internet that, this character was better before she was given wings and stuff like that. It's not going to stop there. We got to remember that when Twilight became a princess, it was done to market Princess Twilight figures. I mean, how would you feel if suddenly they decided, let's take the most adventurous of the main six, the tomboyish of the main six, in Rainbow Dash, and let's make her into an Alicorn princess? How would you feel about that? You'd probably feel it wasn't necessary, but the reason it would happen is because Hasbro would want to market Princess Rainbow Dash or Alicorn Princess Rainbow Dash figures and merchandise. Same thing if they did it with Applejack. If they wanted to turn Applejack into an Alicorn, same thing. Same thing with Rarity. Same thing with Pinkie Pie. Same thing with Fluttershy. If they wanted to change any one of them into Alicorn princesses instead of Twilight, it would be the same reasoning. Because of the fact it's called marketing. It's called marketing 101. Create something or reboot something and try to sell it, try to make money off it, try to make money off merchandise based on it. And that's why Twilight was made into an Alicorn in the first place. It wasn't because they wanted to change her character and have her be a worse character type than what she was before. It isn't because they wanted to, keep her out of the picture, make her stay behind while her friends would go on adventures and on missions to, like I said, to exotic places around Equestria. No. They did it because of marketing. That's all they did it for. That's all they did it for, was for marketing. And everybody knows that. Anybody that has been has been Hasbro fans for as many years, like I have, they know this. They know without a shadow of a doubt that Twilight becoming a princess isn't because they wanted to advance the story or jump the shark or develop her character even further, in the comics and in the comics and in the cartoon series. No. They did it because they wanted to market a new line of Princess Twilight merchandise. That's why they did it. They didn't do it for any other reason but to market Princess Twilight merchandise. That's all. That's the only reason. It's the same thing when when you think about it. Everybody from Silver Quill to Huey Toonmore to Eliora to Firebrand to Lightning Bliss to Keyframe to Golden Fox, Toon Critic, just about every mainstay of the Brony and Pegasus community have said the same thing. When you look at someone like Celestria, she's pretty much a queen. Even Lauren Faust said that Celestria originally was supposed to be like a queen. The way she's presented, the way she is admired by the other pony characters and creatures. The fact that she's looked upon more so than her sister Luna shows that she's on that higher pedestal than Luna. You could say well, they kind of share equal billing when it comes to the movie. That might be the movie, but the point is, Celestia from day one of this series has always been looked at by the fans, young and old, as more of a queen than a princess. And the only reason she was made a princess, and they have said this and the only reason they said that, and the only reason she was made as a princess, and every mainstay of the Brony Pegasus community that I've mentioned, including as well as those that work on the series or have worked on the series, have pretty much said that the reason she was given the title of princess was it was more marketable. In fact, a lot of the mainstays from Silver Quill to Lightning Bliss have all looked at the fact that Disney is one of the main reasons why the princess name is such a hot commodity. And that's why Twilight, and that's why Celestria was given that title. Instead of being Queen Celestria, which makes as good a sense as Princess Celestria, she was given the princess title because it's more marketable. It's less intimidating, if you will. It's less intimidating. That's why she was given it. So when you look at someone like Twilight Sparkle and you wonder why in the world was she made a princess, it isn't because in storyline context it was to advance her character, to kind of develop her character more so. To where she would have to start adjusting to this new role she's in, to start adjusting to this new life she's been given, to start adjusting, to the new responsibilities and new responsibilities that she has to endure to, as well as I mentioned earlier, start being more of a leader and a teacher and a mentor to other ponies and creatures like Starlight, as well as a friend, and if you will, it wasn't just because of all that. No, it was because of marketing. Marketing is the reason she became a princess. I mean, heck, the line she spoke to Starlight, in Fame and Misfortune about the journal, saying that it was not about marketing, that the journal's not about marketing, shouldn't have been about marketing. That's a fact. That's a fact that a lot of people look at when it comes to a character like Twilight, who is no doubt a huge fan favorite, a very beloved character. They look at the fact that her being a princess, or her becoming a princess, her getting the alicorn status, shouldn't have been about marketing. It should have been done correctly. It should have been given a natural growth. Lauren Faust, and I think I even mentioned this in my live stream earlier this morning, Lauren Faust even said that the plan was for Twilight to go to that next level and become a princess, become an alicorn, but that Lauren Faust originally wanted Twilight, or wanted to wait till the end of the series, whenever that would be, for Twilight to achieve that goal. Because then everything comes full circle. Everything comes full circle in the end. Twilight, officially becomes a princess in the end of it. When you think about it, she becomes a princess after all the trials and tribulations that her and her friends have gone through. So basically, when you see fans and bronies and Pegasus, the community, debating back and forth of Twilight being a princess, and it kind of jumping the shark, you got to remember, if Lauren Faust was still running things, or at least still had a say somewhat in the series, or at least a major say, like a final say, if you will, then right now Twilight wouldn't be a princess. Instead, we'd still be waiting until the very end of the series for it to happen. But because Lauren Faust didn't have that final say, if you will, Twilight became a princess. And again, it was done for marketing. Now, you might ask yourself, well, why was it done around the end of Season 3, beginning of Season 4? Doesn't make any sense. Why was it happening then? It's real simple. Just like with Twilight's character, just like in the context of Twilight's character for that season, where she had to learn and adjust to her new life and learn the new responsibilities that she had as a princess, and the new role, I should say, that she had as a leader, not just to her friends, but to all of Ponyville, if you will. This was the reason, in my opinion, it was done at the beginning of Season 4. Well, like I said, it was not just for her to adjust to all that, but for us as the viewers to try to adjust to it as well. To kind of start slowly adjusting to this new status quo that she had been given. To this new sudden change that, to a lot of us, came out of nowhere, but at least in the eyes of DHX Media, Hasbro, and the creative staff, we were being given a season to adjust to it. A season, like I say, we were being given a season to adjust to it, to try to accept it. Well, like I was saying, it's like with Twilight as a character in story and in context of the story and the continuity. The reason it was done in Season 4 was to give her as a character, as well as us, the viewers, time to adjust to this new role that she was put into. And even though it's been about 3 seasons, or going on 3 seasons, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, it's going to be 4 seasons after Season 7. Well, even though it's about 3.5 seasons now, there's still a lot of the Brony and Pegasus communities and fan bases that are not yet adjusted to the role of her being princess. Why would M.A. Larson and the creative staff, make an episode like Fame and Misfortune and have certain background ponies address criticisms that we as fans have criticized, we as fans have spoken about? I'll tell you why. Because those criticisms are still around to this day. Fans, Bronies and Pegasisters, overall MLP fans, are still not happy with Twilight being a princess. They feel that they still feel it was too rushed, and it takes away from what the story, from the potential of a good. It takes away from the potential of the overall show. The potential takes away a good potential from the overall show. Takes away a part of it that made it good. But here's the thing: we got to remember that just because she's never called upon by the cutie map to go on missions as much as we'd like to see it, it doesn't mean the story can focus on her. She can't be part of the story. Like I say, look at Gauntlet of Fire. Look at Amending Fences. You know, take a look at Celestial Advice. You know, she was part of those. Heck, she was even part somewhat of a royal problem. Take a look at Fame and Misfortune again, for example. She was a part of that. Well, of course she had to be, but you get the idea. The point is, she's still a huge integral part of the entire show. She is. It's just that right now she's in a role and in a position to where, from a character standpoint, she can do much, but she can't do much. She could do as much as she can, but she can't do as much as she can because she's limited. She's limited to what she can do. So overall, when I look at Twilight as a princess, I'm okay with it. I'm cool with it. I have no real problems, but I do understand how some people feel even to this day about it. You know, they feel it was too soon. They feel it was like a jumping the shark. They feel it was unnecessary. But again, like I mentioned earlier, and I'll mention here, you got to remember, Twilight becoming a princess wasn't because, it had to advance her story arc in the series, or help develop her character even more so in season 4, so that we as fans, along with her, can adjust to this new life that she has, this new role she's in. No, it wasn't just all that. It was because of the fact that her becoming a princess was done as a marketing ploy to sell more princess merchandise. And they had the 3 princesses, but they wanted more. And Hasbro, like any other company, is going to jump in an opportunity and they say, well, let's take the main character in the series and let's make them a princess. There you go. That's what happened. That's what happened. I mean, heck, even Disney, which, like I said earlier, a lot of people have pointed out as being the culprit behind the whole making the princess title, relevant and making it marketable. Disney has even poked fun at this themselves. It's a fact. It is a fact because when you look at Wreck-It Ralph, and it's revealed that Vanellope is a princess, they mock it. They make her act like she's all princessy, but she's only doing it to fool around and kid with everybody. Basically, Disney is mocking it. Disney is mocking it. In a sense that this is Disney. The people that made the princess title marketable and appealing, they are mocking it with a character like Vanellope. I mean, heck, there's a teaser scene. There's a scene in a early teaser that was seen at D23 this year that show Vanellope interacting with the other Disney princesses and how they were even critiquing their lives. They're critiquing their roles and all that. So it shows you that Disney is aware of it. They aware of it to the point that they will mock it if they have to. But they're the ones that made it marketable and appealing. So when you take a look at Twilight being a princess, remember, it's done because Hasbro wanted to market more princess stuff to the audience, to the kids, to the bronies, to the Pegasisters. They wanted to do that, and they could have done it, like I said, with any other character. But the main lead, the main character in all of this was Twilight. So who better to make into a princess? And like I said, it wasn't just done to advance a story arc in the series, advance his story arc in the series, and through continuity and all that. Well, from a continuity standpoint, it wasn't to advance her story arc. It wasn't just to develop her character even more so. It was basically done. It was basically done to market, to be a marketable tool. Basically, it was done to market new princess stuff to the kids, the bronies, the Pegasisters, the overall fan base. That's why Twilight became a princess. You could debate whether or not it's too soon. You could debate whether or not it changed her character for the worse or for the better. That's fine. But you got to remember, at the end of the day, it was only done for marketing. And that's why she's still a princess. They could at any time, and I've even thought about this, and I mentioned this in the live stream. They could at any time, and I believe possibly they're thinking about it, that if the series ever comes to an end, and I still believe we're going to get a decade worth of episodes, that whenever the series does start to finally wind down, they're going to come up with a story to where Twilight may want to renounce her status as a princess and go back to being herself again. And, just go back to being her normal self, being around her friends. And that's it, enjoying life. I have a feeling they're thinking about it, but I'm not too sure they might go through with it. But, that's just something I've thought about, thinking, what if that was to happen? Because like I said, you got to think, this was done to market. This was done to market new princess stuff. That's why she's still a princess now, to market more figures and stuff with her as a princess. Once that's all said and done, who knows what they'll do when the series starts to wind down and end. I'm just saying. But in the end, like I said this morning, and I'll say it again, we got to remember, we could debate all we want till we're blue in the face. We could say yay or nay on it. We can be in the middle. But we got to remember, Twilight being a princess was only done to market princess merchandise with her likeness on it. That's all it was. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you for listening to this audio version. It was a little shorter than this morning. So this morning's live version. But let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. And I'm out.